Hello everybody, it's Dr. Pink Gaming and we're back with another Dreamlight Valley video, and in this video I'm going to be taking you on a tour around my valley. Now my valley is unfinished and I did make sure to do my best to clean it up, but if there's anything lying around, please forgive the mess. I just thought it would be fun to give you guys an update on how my valley decorating is going, so let's get straight into it. So here I'm starting out in my plaza, and I just have the first thing you see being the Walt and Mickey statue, my favorite, and just this cute little central seating area. And to my right, I've made out a little neighborhood setting just with Mickey and Minnie's house, but before that I do have this little seating area that I made use of some of our Easter items. I may change this up as I go throughout the year to make it more seasonal, but I'm happy with how this looks right now. And we do have Figaro out here. I love his little dance. So he can be close to Minnie. And I have Mickey and Minnie's house so they can be neighbors with their little white picket fence. I think looks very cute. I have thought about moving them down to the peaceful meadow, but whenever I tried to do that, I didn't like how it turned out, so I ended up moving them back up here. Just seemed to fit better for the decor style I was doing. And then back here, this has been several things, but let me show you from the front entrance because I did this little pathing here with these cute pink flowers, but I have the flower shop in here. This has been several things. I thought about making it a farm, and then at first I had my original house here, and this may change eventually, but right now I'm happy with how this is. But I do not believe that this is going to be permanent. And I do have some critter friends back here, just some bunnies. I like making use of my critters. And back here I have this little patch of gardening. This is just for gardening items like that I get from night thorns and whatnot, just kind of hidden back here. And then if we head back to the other side, I have in my mind just like a little plaza shopping area. And over here I have Remy's, kind of as if it's a little outdoor bistro, but I have Remy's restaurant and his home next to each other. Originally I had this area kind of tighter looking with Scrooge's shop, but I decided to open it up. And I love this little seating area over here with my coffee items. And this adorable Remy fountain, I think, is the perfect touch for outside of his restaurant. And then across the way, I have the clock tower and this Main Street building. This used to be between this area over here, but like I said, I wanted to open it up, so I moved it. And I have Scrooge's shop and Daisy's. I actually really have a hard time with Daisy's boutique, and I think it's a hard one to figure out where to place, but I think it's working there for me now. Next we have my peaceful meadow, and I just start out with this large Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey statue, which is really nice. I need to decorate around it though, but for the most part I have the peaceful meadow pretty open. I like to think of my peaceful meadow as like an open area park that has some people living in it, not necessarily a neighborhood. But over to the right, I do have a seating area and this little walkway as if this is a little market for Goofy. So I have his stall set out here. And then across from him, I do have a little picnic set up so people can just shop for their items and then come over and eat. And then if we keep heading down, hi Rapunzel, we have Merlin's Dreamlight Library. I just think of it as Merlin's home, but I think it's called the Dreamlight Library. And this is also across from him where I tried to put Mickey and Minnie and it did not work out. So here I have Merlin's, and his little side yard is just full of books and this telescope as if he's studying and researching things for us. And then I do have this topiary of Figment with a little seating. I love doing the little statues with seating areas, and it's just a really easy place to start your decorating. So I have that here. And then I do have Woody's carousel, which I feel like a lot of people have a hard time decorating with. And I mean, I did too. It's not like I did a lot here, but I think this is where he's gonna stay permanently. I'm happy with how it turned out, even though it's really simple, just the balloons in front of it, but I think it fits nicely in the peaceful meadow. And then I'm gonna give a larger view of where I put Wally's little garden. But if you walk back here, I just have a little pathway for him as if he kind of helps Goofy stock up for his markets. Have his little delivery truck over here, and then his garden. And I think all of this little area fits nicely. If we walk over here, we do have Goofy's house. I like to keep him in the peaceful meadow because that just makes sense to me. Seems like he fits. He can go fishing here. It's like a park area, and it just seems like where Goofy would want to live. Do have a little crafting station, which I think fits Goofy's dad aesthetic. Near him, I do have Buzz's RV, and I kept it true to the RV type camp style. Another thing that I think adds to the idea of having the peaceful meadow a park. So I have this little eating bench and his little laundry, as if it's out to dry. Little radio station behind the Forgotten over here. And then an area for him to cook and have his coffee. And his neighbor over here is Daisy. There's a little bit of room between there in case I want to add anyone, but right now there isn't anyone. And Daisy has this little salon setup as her side yard. I like to think that the villagers come to her for some style advice, and she takes them in there. So I have Daisy's house, and on the other side I just have some foliage. I used to be kind of OCD about not having other biomes plants in the wrong biome that they weren't from, but I've since got over that, and I think the pink flowers and bushes look really nice next to Daisy's home. Right in eyesight of Daisy, as if she can kind of keep an eye on Donald, I have Donald in this little pond here. And there's not much happening, just have this little sign outside from Stitch. But I definitely think Donald belongs in the peaceful meadow for me, since there's not many places he can really go since he has to be placed in water. And here we have my Dazzle Beach. And when you enter the Dazzle Beach, you have a great view of Ariel's grotto. I think it's probably what it's called, but either way, it's her little castle. And it looks really nice, and the water has to be out here on Dazzle Beach for me. and just have a few items set out front. I've tried a few different things out here, but it seems to get cluttered really easily because this area is so narrow. But I do have her crafting station. I love the crafting stations that are catered towards the different characters. I hope that we get more in the future. Then over here I have a little outdoor layout beach area with a lifeguard station and some ice cream, hammock, and surfboards for Stitch because I have his home back in this corner so he can just wake up and go surfing, grab some ice cream if he wants. And then as we walk through the Dazzle Beach, I have this eating area out here. So to my right, I have this little outdoor eating. I kind of think of it as like a special date night or like a VIP area. And then to the left is the waiting area. I like to think of it as like a cruise line boat waiting area, as if they're waiting for their table to open. Across the bridge here, I have Eric's home, which I've seen look really great in the sunlit plateau, but I've left it down here so that him and Ariel can be close together. And I have his statue out front and just some boat type decor around. And then I have this little dock market with a Goofy stall and some shave ice storage, little picnic area for people to enjoy, and then back behind I have some more storage. Over on this little island I don't have anything, and I do have Maui's home, but I kind of just have it over there because I'm not sure what to do with it. When you head this way, you have Wally's home, which I think is great for the beach because he kind of has the best of all the worlds. He has the ocean and the greenery and the sand, so you can enjoy it all. And I think his home looks really nice at nighttime too with those lights. And his next door neighbor is Moana, who has to be on the beach obviously for me. And she has her critter friends over here with Pua. So cute with this little roll and Hey Hey. I think they're really fun critters to have in the game. Across from her, she does have her little fishing stand that I really don't know what to do with, but I just have it for easy access near her home. I'm gonna walk around the back of this Lilo and Stitch Cafe home, but I have this seating area, and these are some of my favorite seats in the game. I just think they're so beautiful with those pink flowers and the pillows. And I thought it was nice to sit and watch the waves. And back here I have some more hammocks and this little tree fort, Stitch tree fort thing that we have in the game. And let's go around so we can see the front. I think this is a really nice home. I wish we could get up on the deck and sit, but I think it looks really nice. I need to work on some of my pathing through the different biomes, but here I have a different view of the seating area. I love this Eternity Isle plants I used here. So back in this little awkward corner, I kind of wanted to make some like dark glowy items for a little pathway to Ursula's home. Kind of just have some random items here, but I figured Ursula should be near her little cave, and I kind of think of her as someone who'd want to be isolated anyways. Just have some of our items out here for her, and that is my Dazzle Beach. And here we have my Glade of Trust. I really like the Glade of Trust, and I've spent quite a bit of time changing it up every once in a while, but here we have it for now. And back in this little corner, I do have my Goofy stall readily available when you enter. And then we'll walk through this side with this gazebo. I love the gazebos, and I think this one is so pretty in the glade, especially with Tiana's in the background, and it matches really well with that lady's house that I have on the left. And Tiana's just looks so pretty day or night, like just how bright it is. And then to the right, I did put the teacups right in here. Not for any reason, but just because I really like it. And then next to it, I do have Tiana's water tower. And as we keep walking on the right side of Tiana's restaurant, I do have a little grab and go station, I like to think of it, with her stall. And then on this pond, I have a little seating, but on the left side of Tiana's, I kind of like to think of this as like a little jazz lounge with some outdoor seating and some lights that look really nice. This little seating area over here too that's more casual. Area to play some music. I do have this little Lady in the Tramp table, which I did this little setup with the plushies and I love it. I had it in a Dream Snap in the past and then I had to have it in my valley. Have Tiana's home real close to her restaurant so she can just get up and walk over. Some critter for my gators to stay in, and then I have Lady's house, which is one of my favorite homes from the premium shop, and I think it looks really nice in the glade. Just has that kind of like vintage look to it that I think fits. This front area is pretty empty. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to want to do over here. But as we cross this little area, I am planning on having this be like a fairy type area. And I did used to have the fairy blossom, I believe it's called, back here, but it was so large. But I ended up taking that out and I'm hoping to get the new deluxe like Star Path item teacup home that we have and place it in here. But right now I have this, I think this is Tinkerbell's home. And I did this setup very similarly to a Dream Snap that I had in the past, and so I kind of kept it the same. I've thought about moving it over to the bridge or that rock bridge that we entered on, kind of to walk under, but I'm not sure if I'll do that yet. As we walk this way, I have the Haunted Mansion. Let's turn these lights on real quick. With this green glow. I haven't really decorated it. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it here or not because I haven't felt too inspired to decorate around it, so it might be time to change it up. But I love the idea of having the Haunted Mansion, and I have it next to this little back area that I kind of plan on making like a big backyard connected to Charlotte's home. Lottie is actually one of my favorite characters, so I have her mansion over here too. Kind of thought the two mansions close together could look really nice with a connected yard. Besides that, not a ton of decorating outside of just placing those homes down. But if we head in the center near Mother Gothel's tree, I do have Mulan's cart over here. I used to have Mulan in the Glade of Trust and I actually loved how it looked, but I did end up moving her to Eternity Isle, which I'll show you guys later, but her stall is still here. I wish that we could move the stalls into other DLC areas too. I don't believe we can, but I do have this little area for Mother Gothel, just a mirror because, you know, I picture her as probably vain, and her flower, and then this painting crafting table, which I love. So there we have a look at my Glade of Trust. Here we are in my Forest of Valor. I really enjoy the Forest of Valor. I think it's my favorite biome. And here we have my Tangled inspired Goofy stall. I really like the Forest of Valor just because it feels the most fairy tale like. Have this little seating area, but if we turn to the right when we enter, I have Belle's, I think this is Belle's library. I don't quite remember what that home is called, but in this little corner back here, I have a little reading corner for her. And I love this book couch or book sofa that we got from Storybook Vale, and the greenhouse is the perfect backdrop. If we keep going, we can head to Beast Castle. And we have the front of Beast's greenhouse. And Belle has another outdoor reading spot with a little popcorn machine with our Sultan companion. I hope that's how you say his name, but he's so cute. So he's back there for them. I like to think that Beast made all these areas for her because he loves Belle so much. And on the left side, I have his little date night setup for them. This looks really nice at night. I love this table and all the candles. I really enjoyed decorating around Beast Castle. But if we head out, I do have this big empty spot. Hopefully we get some more villagers soon that will fit in the Forest of Valor. But back here in this corner, I have Rapunzel's tower. And before that, I have this little area that was kind of inspired by a dream snap I did recently. And it's funny because I find Rapunzel standing back here a lot actually. So I'm glad she's making some use out of it. But I have this little pathway leading up to her tower, just simple, but I think it works well for her. With her lanterns, so she can always look out and see them. And then right next to it, I have the Snuggly Duckling Tavern. I do think that both of these, even though, especially next to the Snuggly Duckling, there's not a lot of decor, I think these are permanent. But these deluxe Star Path items that have the snow on them, I kind of placed them close to the Frosted Heights as a transition piece. So I have this nice gazebo. And then if you enter from this way, I think it looks really pretty, the pathing. And over here, this little nook has some of the other items with the fountain. Both of these fountains from that Star Path are some of my favorites. I just think they're really pretty. And I love the darker wood, looks really nice with those trees. This is the back side of my home. I just wanted to show you guys because I think it's a pretty way to enter to this other part of the Forest of Valor. But let's go around to the front. And as you cross this bridge, we have another Great Sorcerer Mickey fountain. And I use this like gemstone pathing that I just think looks really nice in here. And to the left, I have this pumpkin patch. This is where I used to do my main farming, but I don't anymore. I just leave the pumpkins as is. And I have this beautiful Cinderella carriage. I really love how this pumpkin patch turned out. And then this little pumpkin carriage looking plant decor right here, that's actually one of my favorite items to decorate with. Around the corner, I do have the fairy godmother's home right next to her pumpkin patch, but she also has this little side yard I made for her, just with a lot of princess girly feminine items that I think look really nice. And then I made it as if she maybe has some dinner parties, invites people over, because it seems like something I think the fairy godmother would do to spend time with villagers and catch up. So then we have the back of my home. And I just tried to make it just a lot of explosion of pink flowers and everything. And I'm obsessed with this Pink Hearts castle. Made myself a little reading nook area with bells. I believe this is from a Belle's fountain. Added a little tea seating area. I'm really happy with how my Forest of Valor has turned out so far, and I think most of this is here to stay. Here we have my Frosted Heights, and I start out with the entrance with this beautiful fountain. And usually for the Christmas time, I will have some Christmas decor around, but since it's not that time of year, I don't. Behind it, I have Kristoff's stall that I have decorated with this Woody and Buzz ice sculpture. I kind of like to think that Kristoff made it himself. Then over here I have a little spot for Goofy's stall, which does have some Christmas items that stay around year long. I have these really nice lights that we got from the Winter Star Path. And more Winter Star Path items, as I have this crafting and cooking area, easy access. I try to have one in each biome. Here I have more Star Path items. I'm hoping to get more this next winter. Maybe they do more winter type themes, because this last one was my first one. I have this little igloo seating area with the plushies. I love decorating with all the different plushies. Back in this back corner, I do have this winter home, which I believe was from the deluxe part of the Star Path. I did hide the back end so you can't see that little walkway up, but I do love this home. With all the snow and the lights, I think it's really pretty. In this opposite corner, I have this little ice rink that I got from the premium shop. Not too much decorated on this side of the Frosted Heights. So let's go around to the front. And over the bridge, I have Anna's castle. This is definitely off center, but it's how it just ended up for me. This fountain area, and on the side of the castle I do have a sled, as if it's kind of like where it's parked, and maybe Kristoff likes to wash it over there. Then over here I have this little hot tub area, because since we're in the Frosted Heights, it just seems like we would probably need a hot tub. And then across the way in this little side yard area, I have a little seating with some frozen furniture. And then a little baby spin that I think is so adorable. Then as we walk through these trees, I do have a little area for Vanellope. I'm gonna go over here to the front so you can see it from the side entrance. So I just have her candy pathing lined with these cherry trees, which I think look really great. I made a little driveway with her, for her and her little car. I know some people struggle with Vanellope's home, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. And across from here, I have her little arcade. And this little transport thing, I don't remember what this is called, but we got so we can visit other people's valleys. I do not like this item. I had such a hard time decorating with it, and this is definitely where it's gonna stay because this is the only thing I could come up with. But I just have more of like a fun arcade area for Vanellope. Definitely have her Sugar Rush game over here. And I definitely think that this little area is permanent. I do think that the transition between Vanellope and the Frozen Castle area needs some work, but for the most part I'm done here on this side. Here we are in my Sunlit Plateau, and to be honest, my Sunlit Plateau isn't very decorated, but I do have a few areas to show. So as we enter, and to the right I have Scar's home area. I'm just gonna leave it because I think this is like the perfect setup for him. I did add these blue flames, and over here I have a little cooking setup and some hanging fish, as if Scar like goes fishing and comes back from the Sunlit Plateau River. And then all the way over here I have the Pride Rock and some decor around. I believe this is where I'm going to keep the Pride Rock, but the decor is definitely going to change. Keeping the same items, but probably will move them around. And then I have this big waterfall over here for them to enjoy. Over here towards the center, this is probably permanent. I'm really happy with this little spot where I have some seating and storage and Goofy's stall into the mines over here. But I'm really happy with how this seating area looks. Over in the back corner, I do have Maribel's home. Maribel's home was so difficult for me in the beginning of playing Dreamlight Valley because it was so large, but I think it's perfect here in the Sunlit Plateau. And I have this little outdoor eating because I feel like she would love having guests. And then for her side yard, I like to think that I just put out a bunch of stuff for her to do all types of activities. With this rug rack and these planterns, a guitar, this little painting station, just lots of activities for her to do. Then on the opposite side, I have this little pool hideaway area. I did do this for a dream snap, and then I just kind of situated it to keep it. I would like to add some things to this area, but I think it's definitely going to stay like a little pool spot. I do have Aladdin's home here in this corner, but to be honest, this is not staying here. It's just here for now. I plan on moving it to Eternity Isle. So that's my quick little walkthrough of the Sunlit Plateau. Here we are in my Forgotten Lands, and I don't have too much to show in here because I honestly don't come up and decorate often. After the immediate entrance, I just have this Monsters Inc. area with this Monsters University home. Have this Forgotten Thorns pillars out front and this fireplace slash fountain. Over on the side, I did add a little side area, and I like to think this as like a little comedy club, and maybe they do little comedy skits on the weekends. Across from here, I have the Haunted Mansion holiday home. And this is homage to the Nightmare Before Christmas Haunted Mansion that they have during the holidays in Disneyland. And I believe that this is going to stay in my Forgotten Lands. I may move it to a different area, but I definitely want to keep this out year round. Under this big tree arch, I have the Nightmare Before Christmas area. I just have the home back in this corner with the tree. And then its little side yard is this outdoor library. I do have Zero back there, the little fox Zero companion that we have, but he always gets stuck back there. I'm not sure how to fix that, but I like the way his little house is in that corner, so I really don't want to move it. So some of these items may end up being moved around, but I do like the Nightmare Before Christmas area back here. And that is the final bit of my main valley. I am going to move on and show you guys some of my Eternity Isle and Storybook Vale. There's not that much that I've done, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Here I brought you guys to my Eternity Isle, and I have my main home over here in the overlook area. As you enter to the right, I have my little garden and my capybara friends. I did use the Seaside Villa home from Ariel's bundle as my main home in Eternity Isle. I just think it fit perfectly. I also did this little area with this pool. I haven't used the pool anywhere, but I thought it fit really nicely in this back corner. Up there, up the stairs, I really enjoy that area. I would like to move my main home up there someday, but I just haven't taken the time to do it. I'm gonna show you guys down here in the lower level of the docks. I just have my Goofy stall set up. I really like this pathing down here in Eternity Isle as well. And I did do this seating area around this tree, and I really like how this turned out. I'm glad Mickey's making use out of it. Also, those glowing balls kind of drive me crazy as I walk around or try to decorate. Throws me off, but anyways, this is the only thing I've really done down here in the docks, but I'm just really happy with how it turned out. I love the Eternity Isle plants. The last part of Eternity Isle that I'll show you guys is where I moved Mulan. Now, I used to have her in the Glade of Trust, and I actually loved her setup, but I did end up moving her down here, and I think it looks nice. I'm still kind of attached to the old setup, but I think this is better use of my space. So I just have lots of Mulan items, and it's kind of a nice big area, but private, back in the very back of the Wild Tangle area. In this little private area, I have this puppet show that we made, and I think it's so funny if you've never stopped to watch it. It's just Mushu and Mulan facing some of the Nightthorns, and it kind of cracks me up. I would love to have more unique items like this. So moving on, I did add a hot tub because I just think Mulan, after all of her work, would really love a hot tub area. And I have these red panda statues that fit perfectly. And another crafting station that caters to Mulan's character. And just some more decor for her. I have another side entrance that I made for her. If you come down this other side, I just have the Mulan wall and these pink cherry blossom trees. And that is the last bit of the Eternity Isle that I have decorated. And next we're going to move on to Storybook Vale. Here I brought you guys to the Storybook Vale in the Wild Woods in the Ever After area. And I just have a few spots decorated. I have this gazebo area that I think matches perfectly and looks really nice. And then we have Merida's home. Merida's home is actually one of my favorites. I just think it's so pretty, little cottage look, but different than some of the other cottage homes we've gotten in the past. And then her little side yard is just a garden area. Across the little river, I do have Goofy's stall, but not much really happening there. But I did make this little fountain area. It's a Minnie and Mickey fountain that I think the colors look really nice in Ever After. Next, I'm taking you down to my Teacup Falls, and this is probably the most decorated area I have in Storybook Vale, and probably compared to a lot of my other biomes or areas, this is pretty heavily decorated. I was just really excited about all of the Alice in Wonderland stuff, so I wanted to make this kind of a functional maze or hedge maze, not super complicated or anything, but as you walk in, we have tons of colorful, nice items. I love these little signage items we got. They're pretty fun to use. And if we make a right, we see the Cheshire Cat topiary. And as we keep heading around, there's just some seating areas, but still with access to fish over here in this little pond. I have shown this in a video in the past, but I've definitely added items since the update. Another little sign for back or this way, which points to this little back seating area with some of those spiral strawberries. Then if we head back, I'm loving these little singing flowers, but I did have to add the teacup ride. It was a must for the Teacup Falls. And right now this area is pretty open, but I'm definitely going to continue decorating, especially as I continue on the star path we're currently on. But over here I do have some more of our singing flowers. And then if we head into this area to the right, I have just a little nice nook with this fountain, which I think just looks really pretty in this biome. Just the bright blue. And then across from that, I did make my own birthday table, and I'm glad because I've been seeing a lot of my villagers make use out of these chairs. I tried to push them back so that there was room for them to sit. I made a point to try to put a lot of sweets and cake items on the table, but I'm sure I'll be switching it up at some point. And as we move on to the center, I made use out of our teacup fountain. And to the right, I use this signage as a down, since that is like a headed down area. There's nothing really down there that I've decorated, but I just thought it was fun to use the signage there. As we head this way, I did make this little backdrop area. It kind of looks like a little picture taking area, but I just think it looks really cute. And added in some of our spade rose trees, and then used our up sign because that way it faces up. And try to use a lot of floral type items throughout this area. Over here, I really don't have much going on. I have a few items just placed down because I want to eventually use them, but that might not be where they stay. I do think that this arch is staying there though. But around here, I do have Alice's home. I might mess around with which way it faces, but I do think I want it to stay over here. This little back corner says wrong way just because it's a dead end, but I think this is going to stay as is with these little toadstool seats. I love the singing flowers, the little like red and orange looking one. I hope someday we get some of the other colors like the blue from the movie. But I'm really happy with how this area has turned out so far. Really enjoyed this new update and decorating with all the new items. So I'm hoping to complete this area soon. Here I'm in our Mythopia area, and I love the colors in the Mythopia area. It's just so bright and gold and looks beautiful at night. I love these gold parts in the trees, and I just think the colors are really nice. So on the left side as you enter, I have Goofy's stall and this windmill with the pink bushes all around and a little seating area. That windmill item is a really fun one that we get just from having the DLC. And then if we were to go to the right, this is my main home in Storybook Vale. I used this greenhouse cottage, I believe it was called, and I just think the colors look really nice in Mythopia. And then all around the side of it, I just made this seating area with all the pink bushes and flowers. I believe I did do a dream snap that looked really similar to this, and then I just kind of expanded on that here. And then I have the Pegasus from buying the DLC, and he's over here as well next to my home. And then we have this pond across, and I've had a fun time decorating around this pond. I really found inspiration from another dream snap that I did and just expanded all around these little areas from there. And so let's start on this far side. Lots of pinks and columns with all of the stone items and the stone seating. Placed some of those swan boats in the water, which I think matches the area well, even better than the ones I have in the Forest of Valor. Then I have a little ground seating over here with some plushies. I've been thinking about moving the flower shop home in this area, but we'll see how that turns out. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys down to this next area of Mythopia. And it's just a quick little walkthrough of these columns. And I just tried to make it like a golden walkway as we get closer to Mount Olympus. Just lined it with some of these olives and these golden trees. And there you guys have my full current valley tour. Just an update. I think it's going to be a long time before I ever finish decorating my valley. Just slow and steady for me. I do really want to next work on some of my pathing. I haven't been placing very many paths down, and I would like to really continue decorating a lot of Storybook Vale, especially that Teacup Falls area, and I'll let you guys stay updated on that. But it's been a long time since I've shown anything specific in my valley like this, so I thought I'd bring you guys around. Let me know what you guys think, or if you guys have finished decorating your valley, or if you think you're like me and think it'll be a long time until you ever do. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!